Hi, this is Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I post homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. I have a little friend here with me for this video. If you have been watching any of my channel or read any of my blog posts, I like to share not only our family's life homeschooling, but I like to share our life collectively as homeschoolers. And so on the blog, I have a lot of interviews with other homeschool moms, homeschool families, just so that you can get a feel for what other moms' experiences are. Sometimes, if you're not in the homeschooling community, it can be something that's kind of hard to, get a feel for what it's like and to just become familiar with. And I think community is really important. So in this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you some advice that homeschool moms would give to someone who's starting out. I have asked many of my friends, I've listened to what a lot of other homeschool moms are saying, and some of these tips that I have listed here are ones that I've thought of myself. These are things, if you are starting out, it would be really good for you to pay attention to, because moms that have been homeschooling for a while have experienced, we've made these mistakes, we have, hit these roadblocks, and we're able to tell those that are coming behind us, don't do this, or, you want to focus on this. This is what's really important. So here is some advice from homeschool moms for beginners. Say hi. The first tip that homeschool moms would give to someone that is starting out is to familiarize yourself with the homeschool laws in your state. The Homeschool Legal Defense Association is a national organization of lawyers. They have a ton of information on their website by state, so you can go on and find your state and just they lay out specifically, what you have to do, what the requirements are. They just have a lot of information on what's going on in individual states. They have co-ops that you can find by state. It's a great resource. So look up the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. So a second thing that I'm hearing from homeschool moms is to not worry about what the kids in school are doing or worry about what your kids might be missing in school. Homeschooling is just very different from school, and really you can't compare the two. In some ways they're going to be learning a lot more on some days, maybe twice as much, and on other days you may not be learning as much, but it really evens out. One thing that makes a big difference in homeschooling is if your kids love to learn, then that is going to really propel them forward. So even if you feel like some days you may not be doing as much, or you may hear something that they're doing, other kids are doing in school, and you worry that your kids haven't done that, if they love learning, they're going to get there, and they are going to move themselves forward. They're going to be reading, they're going to be curious. So it can be super tempting, and I've done it myself, it's a mistake I've made, to compare yourself or to worry about what kids are doing in school. But homeschooling is very different. And after you've been homeschooling for a while, you can see the positive results, and it gives you that confidence, but you may not have that at first. So just take it from other moms who have been there, and don't worry about what kids are doing or what you think your kids might be missing in school. I have found that anything I worried about that my kids maybe wouldn't have the opportunity to do because they were homeschooled was replaced by something that they wouldn't have been able to do if they were in school. So don't worry about what they might be missing because they are homeschooled. A third thing is to pick a curriculum and just start. This is the one that a lot of new homeschoolers get stuck on, and it's easy to do because years ago there weren't a lot of options. You just had to pick something, and there wasn't a lot out there. There is so much out there. It can be very overwhelming. It would be really helpful for you to find one or two friends you know, ask them what they're doing, if you can get anything in hand to look at. But in the end, there's always going to be something about your curriculum that you just don't really like and other things that you love. And it really is almost hard to know what your style is, what your child's style is, and what is going to work until you just pick something and start. And as you get going through your year, you'll probably feel things out, and you may feel like something's a great fit, but you're not going to do this one thing. Or you may realize this is just not working, and you may see something else you love, and you may just decide, I'm going to do this next year. But to begin, just pick something and start. Remember the 3 R's: reading, writing, and math. Make sure that you are doing reading, writing, and math every day, that you're making progress in those 3. Those 3 should be your focus. Those are what are going to help your child keep moving forward. That's not to say that the other things aren't important, but these are important, and these are where your main focus should be. They should be primary. The other things should be secondary. That leads me to my next point, which is read to them a lot. If you are concerned that you're not getting certain things in, or that maybe you're missing something in your curriculum, or there's something you feel like they should be learning but they haven't, when you read to your kids, read to them fictional stories, read science to them, read history to them. If you're frequently reading in small sections throughout the day, that is going to fill in those gaps. So read to them a lot. It will help them learn how to read, and it will also just open their world, broaden their horizons, and give them a love of learning and a love of reading. Okay, so the 6th thing is that you do not have to teach individual subjects to each of your kids in every single area. This is something that maybe some new homeschoolers just don't realize. Most homeschoolers teach their kids individually for subjects like reading, writing, and math, but for everything else like history, science, health, civics, geography, art, music, these are things that we do collectively as a family. So maybe you will pick a curriculum for those subjects and do it all together as a family, or you can just even ask what your kids are interested in. What would you like to learn about in science? And, go to the library, pick out some books that you think will cover some of those topics and read those to your kids. Some people don't like that loose of a system. They like to have a curriculum that kind of lays everything out for them. Figure out what works for you, but just know that you do not have to teach all of the subjects individually to each of your kids, that you can group them together for subjects like science, history, art, music, and those content areas. Number 7 is to find a community of other homeschoolers. For us, we have found a wonderful co-op. It was a co-op that actually just started with about 5 moms. It basically started as a play date. We met every week for a play date, and it developed into a co-op. So it wasn't anything formal, but we knew that if we were going to homeschool, we really needed our kids to have friends. And so maybe you have found a co-op, something that you really like, and that's great. If you have not found a co-op, or if you don't want to be part of a co-op, it's still really important for you to know some other homeschoolers and just to have a group of people, some other moms that you can go to and say, I'm having this problem. What have you ever experienced this? What did you do when you had this? Or how are you doing this? And even especially for your kids, to have some other friends that are free during the day, just like they are. They're not limited to a schedule, and other kids that are doing the same things that they are. A community of homeschoolers is going to give you a lot of confidence to keep homeschooling over the long run. The one caution that I would give is if you are picking a curriculum that is going to have you be on the computer at certain times. So for example, cyberschooling can be pretty limiting, and they would have to, be on the computer at certain times. That is going to really limit your ability to just pick up and go, or to meet with a co-op or other homeschoolers. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your curriculum, that you don't want something that is going to be limiting you from being able to get involved in a community. One of the reasons that we homeschool is the flexibility to be able to just pick up and go, or to go and experience or explore things when we want to, and to get together with friends when we want to. So don't let your curriculum choice limit your ability to find a great community. Number 8 is to use this time with your kids as an opportunity to just enjoy them, to get to know them. A lot of people suggest when you start homeschooling to almost unschool, to not do anything formal, to not plan too rigorous of a schedule, have just a really loose routine, and let your family just enjoy being together, enjoy learning together, spend a little time reading every day. One of the reasons people love homeschooling is because of the close relationships that they can have with their kids. And don't lose sight of that. This is why many of us have chosen to homeschool. So use this time as an opportunity to really get to know your kids and to enjoy each other. A lot of times when people are starting out, they're a little nervous about, my kids are going to fight and I'm not going to be able to be home with them all day. And that does happen. But the thing is, when you know you're going to be home with your children every day, and they know they're going to be together, over time, those things work out. And they learn, you find ways to manage your time or to have a routine, and those things even out, they iron out. It's not that kids don't ever fight, it's not that you don't ever want to just walk out, but those things, you just adjust. Families adjust to being with their kids all the time. Kids adjust to being together, and you fall into a rhythm. The last thing, and the most important thing, is to pray. God gave these children to you, and He knows that you are the best person to raise them. There were many times when we started out that I questioned and doubted myself, and I kept coming back to asking the Lord, I know this is something that you have for us. I know it's really good. I don't know how it's going to work, but I commit it to you and just ask for your help. So just, if you know that this is something that the Lord has called you to for your family, just bring it to Him. Psalm 37 says, commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. I have found this to be so true. I can think of just so many examples where we would hit a roadblock in homeschooling, and I wasn't sure how this was going to work out, or just I was worried about it. And I would bring it to the Lord and pray and just ask Him to give direction or to provide for us. And those prayers were answered so many times. So commit your way to the Lord. Pray about it. Whatever is concerning you, if you feel like, I just don't know if I can do this, bring it to the Lord and commit your way to Him, and He will act. If you are a mom who's been homeschooling a while and you have some advice that maybe I didn't cover in this conversation, would you please consider contributing and leaving a comment below and letting us all know what advice you would give to a mom or a dad who is starting out homeschooling for the first time. You can also go to the blog. I have a whole post that I wrote on this with lots of resources in it. You can find me on Pinterest, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And would you please like and subscribe to this video? Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.